today on Investigate TV Plus, thousands of dollars for your expenses, plus a $10K deposit for a new home.
That's a lot of money.
It is a good bit of money. Sometimes you need to go big.
Big incentives from some smaller communities as they look to lure remote workers with the flexibility to live anywhere.
The people who we're trying to entice are the people who are bringing their jobs with them.
We take an in-depth look at similar programs across the country and why experts say it could be a solution to reverse decades of population decline.
Then, a pop-up message on their computer cost a couple their life savings.
This would be like a spy novel. If somebody was writing a spy novel, it was a perfect storyline.
How the scammers convinced the victims to hand over gold bars to strangers at their front door.
Plus, trailblazing awareness.
I've gotten told by so many people that they've stopped releasing balloons.
We meet a college student who turned his hobby into a mission that's changing minds and saving wildlife.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus. It's a hot topic when it comes to the workplace, remote jobs that bring the office into the home. I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. In 2020, the concept surged due to lockdown orders during the COVID-19 pandemic, and more than 5 years later, the opportunities still exist. ZipRecruiter's 2024 employer survey revealed about 22% of companies are actively recruiting remote workers.
It's been especially true in the tech sector, with employers citing access to a wider talent pool when there are no geographic boundaries. But it's not just companies looking for remote workers. Now, communities are too.
Reporter Heather Graff explains how cities across the U.S. are trying to attract new residents who are fully employed but can live anywhere, the competition getting fierce and the cash incentives getting bigger.
The pulse of a city.
It's an area that you can't find anywhere else.
Is perhaps best explained from the perspective of a longtime local.
You getting too wet today?
Someone like Gino Gatris in Cumberland, Maryland.
Oh, that's yummy all day.
Whose family got their first taste of this community when they opened a hot dog shop here more than 100 years ago.
Thanks, babe. We've seen it all. Since 1918, we've seen everything. But that's our famous sauce right there.
Gino knows most of his customers by name.
Hey, Blake.
He also knows pretty much everything about this city.
The reason I love it is because of the people, the weather, the activities. Nice.
Nestled among the Appalachian Mountains, about 130 miles outside Washington, D.C., Cumberland was once a busy manufacturing hub.
We were booming.
Gino's anecdotes bringing to life these old black and white photos inside the Allegheny Museum just a few blocks away. The images and displays document the city's industrial heyday and then its downfall starting in the 1970s as one company after another closed its doors.
They left, jobs left, money left. They all follow each other.
After that, many of Cumberland's residents left too.
At one time, the population of Cumberland was over 40,000 people.
And Mayor Ray Morris says it's something they still struggle with even decades later. The city's current population is about 19,000 people.
It's down substantially, but we're hoping to turn that around.
It's why they recently launched what they're calling Choose Cumberland, a limited-time pilot program that includes big bucks from this small city. $20,000 being offered to up to 10 people who agree to move here.
That's a lot of money.
It is a good bit of money. Sometimes you need to go big.
Morris says remote workers would be perfect candidates, though Cumberland will also consider someone who's accepted a job nearby as long as they relocate within city limits. The other fine print is that the money would be split into two payments, $10,000 in relocation cash, then another $10K that can be used for a down payment or approved renovations on a home. And recipients would be required to stay for at least 5 years.
It has to be your primary residence for 5 years. People who are looking for a small town type atmosphere.
Mayor Morris views it as one element in a broader revitalization plan and admits their inspiration came from other cities with similar incentive deals. The website Make My Move, an online marketplace for relocation programs, lists more than 100 places advertising cash offers to attract potential new residents.
Is remote work here to stay?
My sense is that it is here to stay. And so it's really opened up this new level of geographic mobility. You're not tied to where your employer is.
Evan Starr is an associate professor at the University of Maryland School of Business who saw a need for more research around the idea of cities competing to attract remote workers.
Let's see what we can learn that maybe other localities could benefit from.
And to do that, he and fellow researchers looked to Oklahoma and a program called Tulsa Remote that actually started pre-pandemic, paying remote workers $10,000 if they move to Tulsa and either rent or buy a home.
We started the program really as an experiment to try to diversify the labor workforce here in Tulsa, which is often reliant on oil and gas.
Justin Harlan says theirs is by far the biggest incentive program of its kind in the U.S. and has grown from about 70 participants in 2019 to more than 3,500 of them today.
We work hard to meet with each individual in their first 90 days, understand what it is they're wanting to get out of their commitment in Tulsa and really plug them in.
One of those people is Faith Langevin, a remote worker who made the move from Atlanta to Tulsa back in 2022.
I was looking for a lower cost of living, and that $10,000, there was that financial incentive. And then what made it stand out was the social component.
Faith's cell phone camera roll shows how it played out from there. Happy hours, ball games, marathons, and networking events often organized by Tulsa Remote staff. She and her now husband, who's also a remote worker and also got paid to move here, even held their wedding in Tulsa.
3 years later, any regrets?
Absolutely not. This is really home.
Keep in mind, the Tulsa program only requires a 1-year residency in exchange for its $10K payout.
Yeah, about 90% of people stay beyond the year, but we know that 75% of anyone that's come since 2019 is still around today.
A retention rate Evan Starr found to be significant.
You don't want people only coming to your area for the money. They might come and just take the incentives, and then as soon as any restrictions are up, then they might leave.
In fact, he warns that's the biggest risk for cities experimenting with relocation incentives and points to Tulsa's push for connection and one-on-one support as keys to success.
The role of the municipalities and localities is to integrate those individuals into the community such that they find value there.
No easy task, but in the city of Cumberland, officials believe they've got what it takes.
All right, my man, you have a good one.
With a little help from community stakeholders like Gino.
That's just the way we do it.
Ready to welcome in his new neighbors and the future of his hometown.
Yeah, I'm all for it, yeah.
So let's talk about who's footing the bill for these relocation incentives. In Cumberland, Maryland, the city put up half the money needed for its initial 10-person pilot program, and the other half is coming from a state grant. But we found the funding sources vary from city to city. For instance, the Tulsa Remote program is funded through a public-private partnership. If you want to check out the opportunities offered by different communities throughout the country, head to InvestigateTV.com and search Relocation Incentive.
Still to come, finding courage to be a little creative with your curb. How sidewalk installations have inspired communities across continents to add their own spark of joy.
But first, scammers spent months building trust with one couple before walking away with thousands in stolen gold. We'll explain how it started, the warning signs, and what experts say can help protect your investments. Despite warning after warning, Americans lose billions of dollars to scams every year.
The Federal Trade Commission found in 2024, consumers reportedly lost $12.5 billion to fraud, a 25% increase from the previous year.
The most commonly reported con was imposter scams when a criminal pretends to be someone they are not. Experts explain scams can be hard to detect as they have become highly sophisticated and are often carried out by mafia-style crime organizations.
One South Carolina couple says they got caught in one so elaborate, fraudsters intercepted their calls to a legitimate company.
Reporter Brookley Cromer explains how the criminals then convinced the couple to turn their life savings into gold and hand it right over.
This would be like a spy novel. If somebody was writing a spy novel, it was a perfect storyline.
It all started with a pop-up message on Michael Chrisman's computer. The notice said the computer was locked and all of his information had been compromised. It gave him a phone number to call, and when he did, the person on the line identified himself as someone who worked for a large tech company.
It was identified as a Microsoft number, so I was comfortable because I have a Microsoft system. And once I called that number, this gentleman got on and said, well, you're right, you've been compromised, we need to fix that. He says, and you may very well have been compromised in your financial accounts also, so you need to call your financial institution.
He called the number on the back of his credit card, not realizing all of his calls were being intercepted, and he was talking to the hackers themselves.
It answered my financial institution, fraud department, and I said, okay, I've been a victim of identity theft and fraud.
Michael and his wife Roxanne had many conversations over several months and talked to multiple people. The hackers, posing as bank employees, instructed them to liquidate cash and purchase gold bars. Couriers were then sent out to their home to pick them up on several different occasions.
They would walk up, and then I would walk out, and then the transaction would take place. I would hand them the package, which was the gold, and then they went away. And we were directed at that time to go back in the house, just stay in the house, and then they would confirm that Federal Reserve was accepting the package.
They were told that the gold would be delivered to the Federal Reserve, and they would hold it until their accounts were no longer compromised. After that, it would be converted back to cash and deposited into their accounts. That never happened.
You get victimized by the actual scammers, but then you're left with the IRS and consequences of having to pay. Because, like, for instance, we had Roth IRAs, regular IRAs, we had inheritance, all kinds of things like that we now are going to be subject to paying taxes for. And we're not prepared to do that.
Roxanne snapped photos of the couriers and their cars, and the FBI says they are now investigating and trying to identify the people involved. But they want to prevent it from happening to anyone else.
If someone is asking you to move your money from one account into another to protect it, that's likely a scam.
The couple says the scammers told them not to tell anyone or it would jeopardize the case, and they were careful not to leave a paper trail. They say the warning signs were there, but they didn't see them until it was too late.
To protect yourself or a loved one, the FBI says U.S. government agencies will never ask you to wire money, send precious metals, or purchase gift cards.
Still ahead, seemingly innocent party supplies could have costly consequences for communities.
There are real impacts when it gets tangled with the power lines.
We'll explain how Mylar balloons can threaten public safety.
Then later, from duck trades to dinosaur installations and robot encounters. See how eccentric sidewalk creations are connecting communities. Colorful, shiny, and sometimes covered in messages, Mylar balloons can help celebrate or commemorate a life event.
But when the party's over, we uncover these eye-catching inflatables can also have serious infrastructure and environmental impacts. Mylar balloons can spark fires and cause citywide power outages that affect hundreds of thousands of people. Plus, the party favors have proven deadly for wildlife.
We take an in-depth look at how experts say spreading awareness about the dangers could save taxpayer dollars and protect unsuspecting animals.
These are just the Mylar balloons we have found out in the desert.
Keeping Mylar balloons from the mouths of animals.
Every hike we go on, we've been successful.
Christian Daniels says it's become his mission.
One day I saw a balloon and I decided to pick it up. And then I did a little bit more research when we got home, and I found out that desert tortoises mistake the balloons for wildflowers and they'll eat them.
Side-by-side photos show just how similar flowers and balloons look in the desert. It's one of the reasons the College of Southern Nevada students started collecting balloons while out on hikes. But he says he hasn't been able to save all the tortoises he's come across.
Right at the entrance of his burrow, there was the mylar balloon just sticking out.
The remnants of mylar balloons also put marine life at risk. According to NOAA, balloons are a common form of ocean debris, as more than 50,000 of them wash up on our coast every year. Because mylar balloons never biodegrade, NOAA says they will linger where they land forever, floating in the ocean, where whales, seabirds, and turtles can mistake them for food like jellyfish.
That's some of their primary diets, and they'll ingest those and they can cause an obstruction, and often you don't know until you find dead turtles.
Mark Mitchell, the director of the Wildlife Hospital of Louisiana, says the strings also pose a threat. Animals can get tangled in them, whether that's wrapped around a limb or a beak.
We see those types of entanglements, probably not a huge number of cases, but enough cases that over time it really does build up.
Costly consequences not only for the environment, but for your community.
NV Energy says mylar balloons caused a power outage that left thousands of customers in the dark on Sunday night.
Mylar balloons can also cause power outages. A public utility company in Nevada, NV Energy, found over a 4-year period, balloons caused more than 400 outages, leaving thousands of people without power.
It was in the millions to the cost of the power outages.
Similar situations felt in Louisiana. In August of 2024, a balloon released during a vigil caused a power outage at a water treatment facility that plunged nearly all of New Orleans into a boil water advisory for 2 days. So what is mylar? It's a polyester film on balloons that can conduct electricity. And Daniel Calamari with the utility company Entergy explains how it has the potential to spark a fire.
Them getting tangled in our power lines, it can create a path between the different wires on that pole to cause a phase-to-phase contact, which results in that power outage.
The dangers have led nearly a dozen states to restrict or ban balloon releases.
The fact that you have the power outages and senior citizens have their medicines refrigerated, it may seem harmless and fun, but there are real impacts when it gets tangled with the power lines.
If you're caught releasing balloons in some states with restrictions, you'll likely receive a warning or a fine. But Las Vegas Councilwoman Nancy Bruni says that doesn't always deter people.
It is hard to police and enforce, but I think we all recognize that the issue is awareness and education.
College student Christian has found success online. 5 years ago, he created the Facebook page Desert Balloon Project to alert more people about the threat balloons pose to tortoises.
I can tell you the amount of times I've heard people tell me, I didn't know releasing balloons did this.
He says the page has more than 3,000 followers, some of whom share photos of themselves collecting balloons.
I've gotten told by so many people that they've stopped releasing balloons and that whenever they go out now, they start picking them up.
Entergy suggests you keep mylar balloons inside as much as possible, but if you do use them outside, make sure to use a weight to keep them from floating away.
Up next, sharing joy with a stranger.
How simple sidewalk displays have transformed into a global movement. Whether it's a little free library, inspiring sign, or unusual decor.
It can be fun to come across a unique display in your neighborhood, but they might not always be easy to find. And that's why neighbors in Portland, Oregon created a map to help you explore.
Reporter Io Elise shows us some popular spots and how they're spreading joy worldwide.
It's like I have a one-man carnival going on.
Robot Alley, just on the other side of Robot Valley, is one stop.
So it started as a light, then I put my first version of this helmet out there. And then one day I was in Target buying soda water and I went by the kids aisle and I saw these stormtroopers and it was like, that is it. And then from there, it has just blossomed and evolved into this, what you see now.
A spot where passersby can be entertained by Plattstorm, the man behind the magic.
It's gonna scan it.
Then there's the gentler sidewalk ducks from Coley Lehman.
People will stop by with their stroller and the kids will pop out and reach into the basket of the stroller and trade.
What started 13 years ago as a way to give away leftover party favors has turned into a neighborhood staple.
Because of the Instagram accounts, there are people that are following us all over the country and sort of all over the world. And people now, when they come to Portland, visit these spots, and it's so special because they will stop and post about it, or they'll leave ducks with their name and location on the bottom.
Spots like this can be found on a map called PDX Sidewalk Joy. It was developed by Grant Brady of the Portland Free Little Art Gallery and Rachel Harms-Millant of the Dinorama Exchange.
I would say Sidewalk Joy are free installations in people's yards or curbside gardens that are just for adding whimsy to the community and the enjoyment of passersby. So they're all things like exchanges, think little free libraries with a twist.
Millant's own yard has not only the Dinorama Exchange, but also a mug exchange, a little library, and more. With over 100 listings and close to 800,000 views since 2023, the directory is having an impact beyond Portland.
It's spreading, so I kept hearing from people saying like, oh my gosh, I love what you're doing. I also want to do this in my town, or I just made this installation. And I was trying to keep track of them, but then I thought, you know what, let's launch a worldwide map.
With listings as far as Australia and England, but ultimately, no matter how big the map gets, it starts small in spots like these.
It helps create connection and community, which feels especially important right now.
She used one of my favorite words to describe this, whimsy.
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 I want to go look at that map and check out all the different places across the country and the world, really, right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. All right, that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. Thanks for watching. On the next Investigate TV Plus, a man dies by suicide in the ER, igniting a conversation about nurses and patient safety.
I said, "Doctor, how could this happen?" And he said to me, "I don't know." He says, "I don't know."
We investigate why his family says a lack of critical healthcare professionals contributed to his death and search for potential solutions to the shortage.